Welcome to the Journey Girl Magic Podcast. I am Nikita Burks-Hale, life coach and your personal journey guide. This podcast is for the wanderers, the doers, and action takers. I'm here to empower women and women of color to live their best lives by showing up, being vulnerable, practicing gratitude, being a badass, and most importantly, enjoying the ride. This imperfect podcast is for you as you live your life and become the best version of yourself. So let's journey together. Let's get started. Hey everyone, it's Nikita, and welcome to another episode of the Journey Girl Magic Podcast. Now today's episode is the second in the Journey Guide series, and the purpose of this episode is to really break down the weather forecast. Now in the Journey Guide, the weather forecast is a section for you to really think and write down how you are feeling for the day. So that way, as you go through your day and your week and your month, and you look back, you can see each day how you are feeling and maybe even draw connections to feelings and action. So let's start with that. How are you feeling? That's a pretty vague and loaded question at the same time. And one of the first things I want you to consider when you ask yourself that, especially first thing in the morning, was how was your night? Think about the night before, right before you went to sleep, as you slept through the night. Were you able to sleep through the night? Taking inventory of your night is really important for you to gather data and information to see how your night may have affected your day. And so, for example, for me, in filling out my journey guide this morning, when I asked myself, how was my night, I realized that I did not sleep through the night. I woke up 2 times, which is pretty good for me, considering that I have a toddler. And so I went to sleep around 10 o'clock. I woke first at 12:30, and then again at 3, and then finally again at 7. And so depending on my night, I can take that information and apply it to that morning. So how am I feeling this morning? I'm actually not feeling pretty tired. I'm feeling pretty good. I've got energy, I am focused, and I'm in good spirits. And so it's important for me to take inventory of my night, because if I was not feeling well, if I felt like I was exhausted, then that would likely have an effect on my day and maybe how I go through my day and how I go with accomplishing the things on my to-do list and my task. Another important question is to ask, how did I sleep? So this is similar to my night, but specifically, did I feel like I slept peacefully? Did I toss and turn throughout the night? Did I stay on one spot? Did I end up switching rooms, as I often do with my son? If he wakes up too many times, then I may just go into his room and lay on the floor and sleep there. And so that may affect, and it often does, my sleeping pattern. Also, how did I wake up? Did I wake up by my alarm? Did I wake up on my own? Did something wake me up? A loud noise? A slap in the face by a little kid? Really thinking about how you wake up is also an important aspect of that weather forecast, because oftentimes if you are waking up in a reactive mode, meaning that if you're not able to wake up on your own but something wakes you up, then that automatically kickstarts your day before you've even had time to reflect and take time to set your intentions for the day. Now, you've taken some inventory of how your night was. Now it's time to look forward into your day. What all does your day entail? Does it entail a lot of appointments, a lot of face-to-face interaction, deadlines, or is it an easygoing day with not a lot of things due and you can kind of just coast through the day? Knowing what your day entails is also important in you figuring out how your mood may lend to that or take away from that. As you're looking through your day, some things to ask yourself about is, what things are you excited about? I have a really close friend of mine that every morning she has a morning manifest or a morning ritual, and she makes sure to ask herself, what is one thing that she is excited about? And she's been honest about it and said sometimes it takes her longer than other times to figure out something she's excited about. But I really think that this is important, to think about what is something that you are looking forward to for your day. If you're going through your day or starting your day and there's absolutely nothing you're looking forward to, that's something to pay attention to. That seems like there might be some mindset work needed. And so, what is one thing that you are excited about for your day? On the flip side of that, what is maybe one thing that you are nervous or something that's causing you angst about in your day? Is there a big meeting at the end of the day or at the beginning of your day that you've been planning for, that you've got some nervous energy around? Is there a big talk that you're going to have with a spouse or a friend at the end of the day over dinner that you're not really looking forward to? Did your night entail you maybe having an argument or a fight with a loved one and you're dreading going back home after work? And so thinking about that weather forecast, you really have to take into account all of these things so that you are aware of potential stressors and triggers and how they can be heightened via your mood. So oftentimes, my day starts off at 6 a.m. and recently I've been able to wake up on my own. I've been able to have my alarm go off softly, wake up, take a couple of deep breaths, have some quiet moments to myself before I begin my day, and this helps me set my intentions. And then on the days that I'm not, when perhaps my son is crying and I'm woken up out of my sleep, or there's a loud noise, or my dog is whining and needs to be taken out before my alarm goes off, then I'm already in a mood. I'm already thinking that I haven't had those few moments in the beginning of my day for myself. And so I'm feeling a little irritated, I'm feeling a little frustrated, and me realizing that and writing that down before I start my day is so important. Because that weather forecast, just as it says, it forecasts, gives you an idea of perhaps how your day is going to lay out, how you think things are going to go, your mindset on different things. If your weather forecast is cloudy with a chance of rain or just tired and frustrated, think about what effect that's going to have on your outlook. Think about how it may be a bit more difficult to find things that you're excited about, or to be excited in meetings or to participate in meetings. Your demeanor and your mood and your vibe may be completely different. And so in the journey guide, really taking that time to sit down and most importantly, giving yourself grace in that acknowledgement of your mood will really help you set your day for success. One final thing I want to mention is that your mood, just because it may start one day at the beginning, does not mean that your day has to end in that same way. So if you wake up in a bad mood, that does not mean that you have to go your entire day in a bad mood and end your night in a bad mood. You have the power to really take control of your thoughts and your mind and make that switch. It may not be so sudden as be happy and suddenly you're happy, but thinking about if you're in a bad mood, what things can you do to lift that mood, to change that mood, to shift that mood? Can you walk out in nature? Can you have food that fuels your body? Can you drink extra water? Can you make sure to laugh or compliment someone today? Often a good deed for me is the quickest way to shift my mood. And on the flip side, if you start your day in a good mood and you're just coasting and riding high, don't let the fact that something could change your mood drastically and completely knock you off guard. So be prepared for any shifts, ebbs and flow that may happen and take place throughout the day. Your weather forecast is so important because it also speaks to your emotional health. You should be able to stop and take inventory of how you are feeling. The first step to change is acknowledgement. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are that you are on this journey and you're feeling like something just isn't right. And so as I've mentioned a few episodes ago, the first thing to do is to show up. And showing up means taking inventory of you, how you're feeling, your wants, your needs, your moods, and your attitude. And that weather forecast is one way to do that. I hope this was helpful for you today. In regards to some reflection work, I want you to ask yourself, what is your weather forecast for today? How are you feeling today? Think about how your night has played into this, the amount of sleep that you received, how you woke up, and then finally what you have planned for the day. So head over to the free private Facebook group Journey Girl Magic and tell me, what is your weather forecast? Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. I'm so appreciative and grateful for your time and your listening ear. Show notes for this episode can be found at journeygirlmagic.com/podcast and by clicking on today's episode. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to the Journey Girl Magic podcast to be the first to know when a new episode becomes available. You can also leave a review and let me know how this podcast is helping you on your journey. I read them all. I look forward to journeying with you next week, and remember, it's your journey, so show up, be vulnerable, practice gratitude, be a badass, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. Welcome to your journey.